Hi, and welcome to a new unboxing video. I'm Fettouhi, and sorry it's been so long, but today we're gonna unbox actually something really special. I got this here a subwoofer, and it's around 22 kilos. And the whole story around this here is actually that this here is a XTZ subwoofer from xtzsound.com, which is a Swedish company. This here is their new series, the Sub 1017. As you can see, right here, says so on the box here. The whole story behind this here is that back in 2013, got myself a receiver actually, and it's actually the box right behind me there. I got me a Yamaha surround receiver because I watch a lot of movies and I also game something on my console. I wanted some decent sound. So I bought this Yamaha receiver, which is a 673, a V673, and it's not was at that time not the latest model, but it was probably one of the generation before, but it was the highest praised model at that time. So I was looking for some speakers, not too expensive, but in a great quality class. One of my friends actually told me about XTZ, and I actually found a pair of used speakers on something you can call Craigslist or something. It's not the same here. DBA, I think it was DBA.dk, which is pretty much the same. A private person was selling them in great condition, but there was no sub with it. I bought them. One of the front speakers, it's 98 series surround set, which is two front floor speakers, so a couple high ones, some normal back ones, satellite size around this here, and a center. No sub for it. But one of the front floor speakers had a little issue with one of the plugs that I wanted to use. So I contacted actually the company back in 2013 around getting some replacement parts from them, because this here brand is not something you just buy, especially not in Denmark. So what I did is I contacted them, and they actually told me, well, yeah, we got the parts. Can you fix them yourself? And we'll send it for free. It was just a small piece here. Actually, I still have the part. I actually didn't get to fix it because I was afraid of ruining the speaker, because it was more nice to have than need to have. And I could just connect the cable in another way. I actually wanted to use the banana plugs, but the banana plug couldn't get a hold of the plug itself because there was missing something. And I had to solder something out, and I didn't want to mess with the speaker. The speaker worked great, so just took the copper, wired around, put it through the plug hole, and that's that. So, 1 month and a half, and well, that's it. as finished the other story. That scenario, I got it in the mail, paid nothing for it. Really great customer service. Really happy with the speakers. I haven't really gotten a sub for it. I was actually gonna look for, at that time, the model they recommended for the 89 set was the 1016. This here's the 1017. So why I got this here is they 1.5 months ago, actually, or maybe a month ago, they actually contacted me again. I can actually see it was a reply for my last email, so I could see this here's an email they actually had in their email box for around 2 years, which I think is great. And they actually emailed me that they were coming out with this here new one, and they asked me, "Do you want to test it?" I was just thinking, testing it? what are you implying? So they said you can test this here as a beta tester, pretty much. But through that, you actually just buy it for a little bit less because you're testing it out as one of the first customers. I said, well, I've been looking for one, and I'm getting a great price. This here is around a little bit over 400 euros, not including shipping. And since this here is a heavy-duty one, shipping is pretty insane. So they told me you can get it for this price and free shipping. So hell, I'll do a video on it. I'm gonna do an unboxing video of this here today. And I'm gonna test it out for a week, see how it works compared to not what I've ever had in Subwoofer, but of what I've heard other things of, and try and see if I can get a feel for it, how good it actually is. I have a good expectation for it because at least the speakers are great. I'm really happy with those. It's such a great sounding speakers. So that's pretty much it. So let's get into this here sub and see what it's actually all about. So let's actually open it. So as I said, this here is, I just got it with UPS and it's pretty heavy. And let's see here. How do we do this without actually breaking my back? I also want to keep the case intact. Give me a sec. And Sweden is actually a next door neighbor company, or no, country. I was going to say, and it only took. Well, it should actually have arrived today, which it did. But actually, they sent it. I think it was Wednesday, and actually came yesterday. But I wasn't at home. I've been in England actually, business. So I actually just got home last night. With a late flight, and yeah, he just actually ordered it, or came through it with UPS, and yeah, just got it. And this here is XTZ Sound. Is actually, they don't have an online store per se. They actually use a company which sells all their speakers. Which is called Finnborsen. I think that's how we pronounce it. It's a Swedish company, and these are the guys who actually hooked me up for it, or send this up for me. Really great guys, and actually that's where if you're anywhere in the Nordic region, nor Sweden or Denmark or something, looking for something like this here, these are actually the guys who actually can send you stuff if you don't actually have something locally that's actually selling XTZ sound systems and speakers and all that. I know in the US there should be actually an online store through XTZ Sound, and I think you can buy through there. I'm not sure. I have never, as I said, I've never actually been to a really hi-fi store over in the US, but as per say, you should be able to get it. Again, it's not a brand it's common when you talk about it, but just because it's not common, it doesn't mean it's bad. And from my experience so far with the old speakers, they're quality, they work, great material working for. So let's check it out. So first off, we have this here really thick foam which protects the speaker. The speaker or the subwoofer. The subwoofer itself, I chose a black one because it's a black finish I have on the 89 series I have. You can get it in gloss, you can get it in matte. I chose matte because that's the finish I have on my speakers. The gloss, I think, looks better, but the problem is, as soon as you touch it with your fingers, or you're gonna polish it. It's just like if you remember Samsung's glass monitors and stuff like that. It's just one finger on it. It's pretty much impossible to clean. So gloss looks great, but I don't like it actually when it comes to that. So next thing we have is a lot of support rods, really heavy stuff, so it actually can survive the travel. I think this here is, this here is the grill for it, as you can see. Really nice finish. Let's actually turn it the right way around. And you have the brand down here. As you can see, it's actually pretty big. It's a 10.17, so it's a 10-inch 10-inch sub, which is actually really large when I actually think about it for my needs. I live in a small apartment, or well, small compared to my compared to many things, and it's probably large apartment compared to something in New York, but it's 73 square meters, and I'm sorry I'm really bad at converting that into feet, but square feet. But it's a 3-room bed apartment. I have a pretty largest room is the living room, which is also the kitchen. So that's where everything is set up. And I'm gonna go in more detail actually how my setup is when I try to do a review of it. But let's focus on the unboxing. And here we actually have it. So as you can see here, it's in a well, I will call it a cloth-like backish for protection. And the bottom here is pretty much a foam bottom as the top, and there is of course some cables. There's a power cord box, which is labeled power cord, which is great. Always nice labeling and stuff. We have some instructions. We actually have gloves from the looks of it. Owner's manual. We have the common bags for anti. I never remember. I think it's for humidity. It's actually in there, but I actually never find it. It's nothing really. So that's pretty much it. So let's actually move this case away here. So let's see here. How do we do this without actually me not dropping it? Oh, and it's actually okay. So let's see how we do this. Let's get this here out of the way. So, as you can see, if I can hold it, this is pretty much the back. And let's take a look at it a little bit more when I actually get around to the right side. Give me a sec. I actually need a better setup for this here. This is heavy. Having it on my knee and all that, but improvising. It's all about it. Okay. There we go. So I'm actually going to do this here. So as you can see here, if I can actually point it correctly. So the back is pretty much, you have your adjustments here. You have some switchers. And I don't know what actually they have. Let's actually start with the connections. You have XLR. You have your normal plugs. You have a connection. I think this here is. Let me just check. So yeah, that's a programmable port. And the other one, the XLR. This here is the XLR. This here is the pass-through, and these are the left line ends, which I'm gonna use. Actually, what I bought for mine is I bought a Clicktronic cable, which is a mid-range cable, fully corded and around 5 meters, so it's long enough. You have your crossover settings here. You have your phase. You have your volume, which is set for max. Maybe I'm just gonna put that in the middle. You have your low pass equalizer and your power, which is set to automatic and always on. Since this here is an active subwoofer, it has a power. As you can see at the bottom, you have a power switch. This here is a power supply, standard, which you can use pretty much any cable. I recommend, of course, you actually go ahead and use the cable with it actually. So let's look at the front. So let's take this here down. There you have it. So as you can see, one big nice finish. Again, it has the membrane there, and you have some foam here. You can take it out depending on what sound you want. You have your holes here for the rim or the cover you can put on, or which I will put on. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing a lot to it. So I'm going to put this down, and actually let's look at the cord itself. So not to get it too dusty, I'm going to keep it on this here back, which is, I think, is really nice. I'm not, you could say, oh, you can travel with it, but this here's not meant for traveling. One thing I forgot to mention, it actually has some small feet, so it's actually not standing on a base FDM plate, and it's actually made of FDM. I'll give a link description in to actually the specs of the whole thing, but if I remember correctly, it's the wall construction are constructed out of 25mm thick FDM and reinforced with thick bracing. So it's sturdy, and that's why it's actually so heavy. So yeah, but let's actually take a look at the cord. And where was it? There we go. Cord box. There you have it. The funny thing is actually, I was actually thinking that it had ground with it, but it looks like it's just a standard Shoko stick, which we call it, and that's pretty weird. It's not too long, but again, as you see, this here is a standard power cable. So if you even have a couple of monitors, anything actually that is actually run for some type of power supply, these here, I got tons of these, so I can actually switch this out. I think I might actually put mine with ground on it just to make sure of it. it doesn't really matter. My electricity is pretty new, so but I like using ground with something like electronics. So yeah, let's look actually at the manual here. So this here, as I said, it has some. Yeah, I don't know why, but I actually think it's pretty cool. I think it's anti-static gloves, white. And they are really, really small. Oh, they are actually pretty elastic, so yeah, I can actually put them on. So that's pretty cool. Actually, well, as I said, they're small, but you can actually use them and to make sure when you actually touch the whole issue here with it. As I said, if this was matte, if it was gloss, again, you would definitely need something like that, because as soon as you touch it, your the oils and all that is actually coming off your sweat. It's actually going to stain the finish of the speaker, or in this case the 1017. So the manual is pretty explanatory. It's all about preference. There's some explanation of where you actually should place it. Depending, since I don't have this here perfect living room as always, so I'm gonna put it at a different place, and I will do a drawing and actually show it to you when I do the review of it after I've actually used this for a couple of weeks, maybe a week or so. Definitely a week, because I'm gonna be away actually most of next week. It's describing equalized tuning and all that. It's probably explanatory. So I'm not and again connections, XLR based. So pretty much, I'm probably gonna read through this here just to make sure and connect it up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But so far. It's huge. It's a lot bigger than I actually expect. I actually expect like a quarter less the size, but yeah. Again, it's intriguing to see. Put this on here, so yeah. Everything, in my opinion, stand out as some great quality so far, and the cable I'm gonna use here. This here is a Clicktronic. Line-in cable. It's a Y split, so it's this is what you would connect. This is the end you connect to your receiver, and this is left and right for your for the subwoofer. You could connect XLR, and I actually would prefer it, but I don't have actually XLR on my receiver, so I went with this one here. And some actually say you can just use a single line for it, but since this here is again, it depends on the subwoofer you're connecting. This here is a dual line, so it has left and right, so you need a Y splitting. If you go to a hi-fi, maybe I can't remember. There's a Amazon and all that. There's plenty of cable description to actually just look at the back of this here. It has plenty of connections, so you look at your receiver rod outputs you have, and just hook it up the way you actually want to. I'm not sure if it's gonna give better sound. I'm pretty sure some might say yes, but I do think this here will be okay. It is a good quality cable. Some people, for instance, say that as I told you, I use banana plugs because it's easier to plug in and out if you are moving your monitors or your speakers. The problem is that they say it gives bad connection, so people actually prefer using the copper wire and go with high quality cables. My brother-in-law actually has like cables for over, I think it's $100 a meter. So really expensive cable on his NAT system, but that's only his is an old NAT system for purely stereo. This here is a surround system, so it's different. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this time. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's hard to see with the setup here, and right now it's just focusing for unfocusing. Sorry about that. But again, I'm coming back with a second video of this one here and talking a little bit about my experience. So until then, bye, and thank you for watching.